want to introduce John McDonald, the other instructor for the Grace Hopper seniors. So, John, why don't you introduce us to the teams that you oversaw?
Yes, so for the last 13 weeks, I've been working with the engineers up at Grace Hopper. I had a blast. I know they did too. I'm really looking forward to introduce you to two more teams we have from there. So one of the difficulties that I think Recipe Me dealt with was being an adult, you have to actually look after yourself. And the other thing that I find being a so-called adult myself is making friends is hard. And this is something that the engineers at Attune decided to tackle. So they built an app where they believe that your musical taste could determine whether you would be good friends with someone. So with that, I will let the developers take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Erin Shaw, and this is Kimberly Ton, Sarah Denaci, and Nicole Ivanov. Our app is called Attune, and it's a progressive web application that helps find users with similar Spotify listening habits. So there are a million apps to find a date, but what if you just want to find a friend? When we were talking about this problem, we realized a lot of our friends end up having similar taste in music. So we built Attune in order to take users' listening habits and then connect them to each other. On our app, a user logs in with Spotify. Then they're able to customize their profile. They're able to browse through their matches. They can view compatibility charts on their matches, and they also can follow and message users. We built Attune with React, Express, Firebase, React, Redux, Material UI, and the Spotify API. We built Attune as a PWA, or Performance Web Application. PWAs are fast and performance-focused so that they can be used in a similar way on mobile. This makes our application accessible both on browser and on mobile. And now Nicole is going to talk about our custom matching algorithm.
In order to match users based on their music taste, we query the Spotify API for several different sets of information: top or most listened to tracks, top artists, and the genres associated with those artists. To compare two different users, we implement a Jacardian algorithm that calculates a similarity index for each of these sets. Our similarity index is computed by taking the intersection of the two sets and then dividing it by the union of the sets. We realized that the less popular a song or artist is, the more meaningful it is to have them in common with another user. For this reason, we weight unpopular songs and artists more heavily than popular ones by taking the inverse of the popularity scores that Spotify provides. Once we calculate a similarity index for each category, we take their average to then produce a total similarity index that allows us to rank our matches. To better illustrate these matches to our users, we created a data visualization in the form of a radar chart. And now Sarah will discuss our cloud functions.
We decided to use Firebase Cloud Functions to deploy our matching algorithm because the number of asynchronous calls we needed to make to the database meant that our function could be pretty time and space complex, and Firebase automatically scales computing resources according to the function's usage patterns. When a user clicks the See Your Matches button, a last match requested field is updated on the user node in our database with the date and time of the request. Our cloud function is listening for this event, and in response, it calculates the similarity index between that user and all the other users around them and writes it to their database, to our database. Our app has a listener which hears this database update and renders all the new matches to the user's screen. In Firebase, if a promise contains side effects you wish to be returned quickly, you must return the promise itself as well as the side effects within it. We use this feature to make sure our algorithm was optimized to write our new matches to the database as quickly as possible so that users could see new matches rendered swiftly to their screen. And now Kimberly will talk to us about real-time chat capability.
Thank you, Sarah. Attune also features one-to-one chat. Users can message other users and receive messages as they are sent or view them later in their inbox. To do this, we utilize the real-time capabilities of Firebase to manage our state directly. When a user starts a conversation with another user, a unique conversation ID is created to represent that specific conversation between those two users. A reference to that ID is then stored in the conversation history for both users so that we can easily retrieve their messages the next time they chat. When a user messages another user, that message is written to Firebase with its own unique chronological message ID to that conversation ID. We put a listener on that node so that any changes to that location trigger an update of the Redux store and cause a re-render of the conversation with the new message in real time. We had a lot of fun with the technical challenges of creating this application, and we'd love to share it with you. Please join us at attune.fun.
All right, that was very cool. I know that there was a Grace Hopper student that wrote an interesting article about how Spotify does recommendation and algorithms, and looking at the way they talk about it, it's interesting how subtle recommendation and pairing algorithms can be, right? Because I realized, like me and Nimit, I was thinking we have great matches on the popular stuff, right? Like we're both, like when in college we probably would have matched, but then on the deep tracks, I don't know, I don't think we would have hit on deep tracks.
I mean, I actually think that we have some matching on some of the deep tracks too. I don't know if you really want to mention any of those deep tracks.
Oh,
you.
with Jewel? We're talking about Jewel?
No, I'm not talking about. I was more talking about "I Want You Back."
I want.
Sync song.
But that's popular. I mean, who doesn't like "I Want You
By
Back"?
mistake, we were trying to hide it from each other, and then we discovered that we both actually liked it.
Okay.
But I actually think that's why I believe in this general, because I think music is very personal, and it does reveal like a lot about your personality, and I think it's a great way to meet people. So John, I think it could work for you. This app.
I know there are people out there who like 90s British grunge. I just have to find them.
Find them.
Cannot
All four of
be
them.
New York has all kinds of people. You could do it.